Hello everyone, welcome to the free webinar How to Get a Job in the UK as an International Student. I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna wait for a few people to join and until you are joining, I'll be checking the comment section. Hello everyone, hello Tassif. Why don't you just start with telling me where you're joining from, your city location, and also which university you're studying it or studied before. It'll be nice to see where people are joining us from. As you know, my name is Valeria. I'm a career consultant for international students, but before that, I lived in Nottingham as an international student. I finished Bachelor's of Economics and Philosophy. After that, I lived in London for 5 years or so, completing my master's degree in public policy, but also working in Canary Wharf and other different locations as an HR specialist. That was my first job in the UK after graduating. That's about me. Welcome everyone. Belfast, University of Southampton, East London, Bournemouth, Liverpool, hello. Coventry University, hi, Harajanala, hi Sai, happy that party, Nibin, Jonathan, hello, good to see everyone, University of Manchester, hello Johns, West London, Brunel, Pars, Ashwini from Newcastle, Ravi in India, but will be pursuing a master's in Swansea, amazing, Preston, someone joining us from India, so lots of different locations. University of Hull, hello Hotel. Oh, that's great. So we have quite a big University of Arts London, Jennifer, cool. So really nice to see a diverse group here. University of Derby, Manchester, Teesside, Newcastle upon Tyne, graduated from Edinburgh and Napier. Wow, hello Satish. Lena from Lancaster University, Regent College, Ariane. Well, a big group, so excited to have you here. I think that people are joining and I promise you to give you a lot of value, so I'm not gonna spend any more time on the preparation. We have some people from LSE, Sheffield, and hello from Essex. Okay, great. Hello Phoebe. I'm going to start my presentation. So we have a lot to cover today. We will be covering an introduction, just a little bit about me. Then we'll talk about graduate schemes and programs, what to expect, what you need to know as an international student. We'll talk about some companies that are sponsoring international students on graduate schemes. We'll talk about how to secure that graduate scheme, a graduate program. I'll also touch upon my personal opinion, whether you should be only targeting graduate schemes and when it's not the best strategy. We will do exclusive giveaway of GradCircle membership. Every webinar I give away a membership, and it's really exciting because then I can see people joining us inside my private community. I will share with you a checklist of what was covered in today's session, even more in my short summary of the lecture, where you can tick box everything that we have covered, and then you can ask questions. During the presentation, I probably won't be checking the chart, just because it's quite difficult for me to monitor the chart while presenting. Hopefully you understand that, but hopefully you can hear me okay, you see me okay. Can someone let me know in the comments what's the sound, the picture, the quality is okay? If at any point during the presentation you will get any technical glitches, just reload your page. This should help. Hopefully on my side I won't have any issues, so let me know if you can hear me okay. There is a little bit of a delay and how I present and you see it, so maybe a minute or two, so I have to wait to see your comments. Hopefully the sound is all right. Lena, yep, all good, thank you so much. You were the first one to tell me. Hello Rajesh, hello Siddharth. Okay, perfect. So let's jump to the content. The most important thing that I want you to take away from this whole presentation is that, of course, you don't need any professional experience to get a job in the UK. I know that sounds like wishful thinking, but in reality, it is pretty much what has happened to many of my clients and to me. I didn't have any professional work experience when I landed my first job in the UK. You don't need to study engineering, medicine, computer science to get that first position. You don't even need a graduate visa, though of course it helps. You don't even need amazing grades, perfect English, or connections in the UK. I didn't have any of these, and I managed to get a job in the UK, and many of my clients are in the same situation. Obviously, these things help. I'm not gonna lie that having connections and graduate visa especially can help. But the course you study, your accent, level of experience should not stop you from pursuing your long-term goals. So I'll teach you how to do it, and one way you can do it is through graduate schemes or graduate programs, and that's a strategy that has helped me and other people I work with. So I promise you that by the end of this lecture you'll walk away with an actionable plan and something that is going to be really, really useful. So in terms of why you should be listening to me, why am I even qualified to give you this lecture today, let me explain. First of all, of course, I've been in your shoes, and I do talk a lot about understanding what international students go through, but I'll be honest, I think my main quality is that I have actually worked in HR in a top company, so I know ins and outs of HR department and understand the hiring process as being someone who have worked in different departments of human resources. And after several years of working as an immigrant on a it was called back then Tier 2 visa, work visa, I did leave my corporate career to figure out what I want to do next, and that's when Mind the Grad was formed. So 5 years this year since I've been helping international students in the UK to get a job with visa sponsorship. That sounds crazy. Time has flown really, really quickly, but I think that not I guess it works really well when you tell your story, but mostly I have held hands of hundreds of international students through beginning to the end, helping them in different industries with different profiles, with different backgrounds, no matter where they come from, get those visa-sponsored jobs. But also I work with students train them for free through these different sessions and my resources, and I've run different events throughout my 5 years of Mind the Grad, and I wanted to help even more people. That's why now I have launched GradCircle. GradCircle is basically a way to work with me in a more affordable way, because I was working with students very, very closely, but I wanted to help even more people. I will created this platform, which is basically one online platform where you get group coaching, support from me, resources, materials, list of jobs, and I'll talk a little bit more about this platform later, but this is how I work with students. So day to day, at least 8 hours a day, I spend helping people get hired in the UK. So I live and breathe that topic. And I do have a lot of client success stories. No matter, as I said, where you come from, your level of experience, degree you have studied, it's possible to get a job in the UK with visa sponsorship. And that's what my clients do all the time. Some of the top companies where my clients have landed: Deloitte, Farfetch, American Express, Intel, Bank of England, RSM, just to name a few, KPMG, and many, many more. So that's about me. Short introduction just to command your attention. I think that it's important to let you know that I'm not making this stuff up. I have helped not only myself but others land graduate schemes. And let me explain what graduate schemes are. First of all, I wanted to clarify that there are different options of securing a full-time role in the UK. And the 4 main options that I see is either get a graduate job or graduate scheme straight away. That's what I have done and some of my clients, but it's obviously not the only way. It's when you get a graduate position specifically designed for someone without experience in a company. They sponsor you for a skilled worker visa either straight away or after your graduate visa expires. and then you work for them as many years or months you want. Then another option is to get an internship and then get a graduate job or graduate scheme. Actually, that's very similar to option 1, and basically some companies also run internships. So in your second year of university, or some do off-cycle internships that everyone is eligible for, and then you are offered a job on a graduate scheme, or sometimes you fast-forwarded in the process. I think that internship usually for people that study bachelor's in the UK. So I think that if you didn't study a bachelor's degree in the UK, you're only coming for 1-year course like your master's, it's going to be harder to land an internship. So I would say that mostly option 1 applies more for international students. Then we have just going directly into entry-level or junior job, which is quite easy to do as well. It's just direct entry. You don't have to go for a graduate scheme. You just apply for a position where there is an immediate need in a company. And I'll explain a bit more about that. And finally, you also apply for experienced role. So if you have experience even back home, it doesn't have to be in the UK. You can be applying for something a bit more experienced. So it's very similar to option 3. It's just going to be a bit more experienced. Mainly in this lecture, I wanted to cover the graduate jobs and graduate schemes because of the timing, because a lot of them are going to be starting in the applications in September. Some already started to hire. So it's very good option to discuss in more detail in this lecture. So what are those graduate schemes? Graduate schemes or programs, sometimes they're called interchangeably. It's basically a place where the company hires junior talent. Usually it's bigger companies that want to grow the talent and get this creme de la creme of a graduate market in talent into their company to train them and then probably bring more and more value to them. And for this graduate schemes, most of the time they don't require any experience. Some say 0 experience, some say 0 to 2 years of experience, some would say 0 but some extra curriculums. But usually that's the point. They're not supposed to ask you for any experience. That's the point of a graduate scheme. I do see sometimes they say we want internships or some kind of placements in the industry. So it does obviously help if you do, and I think you should be getting somewhere some kind of experience by the time you are finishing your master's. Your CV can't be empty, but usually there is no requirement to work for 2 years as an accountant if you want to apply for accounting graduate scheme. The good thing about graduate schemes that quite often they're structured, so they can be structured in terms of your progress, structured in terms of the professional qualification you might get, or structured in terms of how many teams you work in. For example, in my graduate schemes that I've done at JP Morgan, I was a part of a corporate development program, which basically I was assigned, or I was applied for the HR stream. And in my stream, I had to do 3 different rotations in 2.5 years, or 2 and a bit years. So 3 different teams I worked at during that time. And I obviously had some training to pursue in between and some events to attend. If we're looking at some professional services, they would have pass for you in terms of how many exams and when you get professional qualification. For engineering as well, they might sometimes support you towards your chartered status and so on. So they might involve professional qualification, but not every role will. And usually it will last 2 to 3 years. That's the average number I see for grad schemes in the industry. Many companies will ask you to apply in advance. How the cycle works at the moment around September time, a lot of companies will open the doors and start hiring for 2025. Some will be hiring for immediate start, but a lot of companies plan in advance, and because the process, it takes a lot of time, it's a long hiring process. They might open applications in September, but you might only have your interview in February or December. I had some of the clients getting jobs before Christmas or before the start of New Year, but some of them have final stages February, January, even March. So it is a long hiring process, but the good thing is that some companies do sponsor international students for visas. They accept international students, and it quite often pay for your visa, and it does save a lot of headache by the time you graduate, or if you already got a offer, and that can work for you if you are currently studying your course. So here are just some examples of companies that, at least last year, were sponsoring international students on their graduate programs. PwC or BP. PwC is a big professional services firm, and BP is big energy company. Obviously, I don't represent these companies, just based on my experience that they do sponsor international students. Maybe things will change this year. So, application process. Let me not scare you, but it's good to know, and it's very important to know how the assessment process works, just so first of all you prepare properly, and secondly you know what to expect. So usually you'll have to fill in some kind of application. Maybe it's just a form where you put all your experience, your grades, the course you study. Sometimes you'll be asked extra questions, such as why did you apply for this position, why this company. Then you'll go and attach your cover letter. It's not always required, but sometimes they do ask for it. But less and less, I think, cover letters are required. I see more specific questions being asked, like why you chose our company, or what project stood out to you, what's your biggest achievement, and so on. Then if you pass that stage, that screening stage, where you might be asked about your visa status as well, sometimes some companies will reject you based on that, because they might not be sponsoring or not sponsoring for the particular role and location. And we'll talk about how to find out what they sponsor or not in the next slides. If you pass all the screening, then you might be given an assessment test. That's, again, not all companies use it, but a lot of them still do it. They might just have a numerical test, which is nothing extraordinary, usually, depending on some companies, but where they test your numerical abilities. Usually it's a school level math, maybe some logical reasoning, sometimes verbal reasoning, so sometimes checking your personality and how you can judge different situations. Definitely you'll have to be prepared for that. It's not something that you can't pass for your all in higher education in top universities doing your masters. I've read where you're joining from, so it's not something that you can't pass. That being said, you do have to prepare, because it's a natural way of testing people. So if you're not prepared, if you haven't done the tests, it'll be harder. You can't just win this stage intuitively. It's all practice makes perfect, in my opinion. And I back then was buying books to pass it. I was failed quite a few tests. Now we have some better tools available. Then more and more I see that companies offer video interview, and that's not usually with a person. It's usually recorded, some kind of AI situation going on or similar, where you go in and you ask a question and you record it, like I'm recording it myself right now. Or it could be a job simulation where you're given different scenarios and you have to maybe type an email or give an answer and then maybe record yourself as well. So they're trying to make it as such that you are tested, but without an actual person talking to you yet. After you pass the stage, again, it's not extraordinary. It's all possible, but it does require preparation, of course, and some kind of strategy and knowing what to expect. Usually, the final stage for most companies is assessment center, usually done in one day. Some break it down into a few different stages, and basically it's a day-long interview. It really depends what company has prepared for you, but usual things I see are one-to-one interviews, some kind of presentation involved, could be a group task, could be a case study, could be a role play. So it really depends on the type of role you're going for, but it's usually a final stage. And only at this stage usually you get to speak to the to the real person or to actual people working in the company. Before that, you kind of are passing all those assessments virtually. But of course, there is also exceptions. Some companies have in-person stages earlier. So that's about the application process. Sounds intense, but it's not something that you can't pass. It just takes preparation for each stage and proper guidance. So if you want to have the biggest chance of getting a graduate scheme in the UK, in a top company, the best thing you can do is start applying 9-10 months in advance of the start date. So sometimes even earlier, some of them opening the doors in September for September 2025 start. So I think that, let's say you want to get a graduate scheme within a year, your best option is to start as soon as possible. Let's say some of the clients I worked with in June or May, that was a very, very quiet time for graduate schemes. All of them already closed, already hired. So there is definitely a seasonal approach to it. And before Christmas, this autumn season is going to be your best time to apply with the most roles available. In reality, there is always some kind of graduate scheme open in the market, but international students don't have a luxury to applying to all the roles because we need to be sponsored. That's why we have to perhaps look for something. We need to have the biggest choice available, and the biggest choice is going to be that window that is going to open soon. Some companies have deadlines. If you need a work visa, they might say, okay, we have doors open, throughout the year, but because you'll need a visa, we'll need to sponsor you. We have earlier deadlines for international students. As you can imagine, some big 4 companies explicitly said that on their website. So if you want to start a graduate job in August or autumn 2025, you need to start applying now. Many graduate roles are already open, but at least they'll be open in the next few weeks or so. That's my suggestion for you. Okay, at the moment, a little bit still quiet, but in the next few weeks, definitely they're going to open. So let me just grab some water before I'll explain the difference between a graduate scheme and a graduate visa. Seems like everyone is here. Great. I have your attention still. What if I graduate after September? Will I miss the chance? Guys, please keep, and girls, everyone, please keep your questions till the end. I will answer to all your questions. Just I need to make sure that I have dedicated time, because if I start answering questions, I will not be able to go through the whole presentation. So, what about the graduate visa? A lot of confusion, people saying that, okay, graduate visa is 2 years. What if the actual assessment or the actual program is 3 years or 2.5, or I'll start my graduate visa a bit later or earlier than the graduate scheme? How does it work? You need to remember that graduate visa and graduate schemes programs are completely separate concepts. They're not anyhow connected. So you need to know that it's just graduate visa is just 2-year extension of your student visa, and some companies still don't accept that for a graduate scheme, while others will accept it, but they don't expect you to be on a graduate scheme for the duration of a graduate program, because sometimes it's really hard to time that together. So let me explain. Not all companies will hire you on a graduate visa on a graduate program, because it's completely different concepts, as I said. Why is that? Because first of all, if the company doesn't want to keep you or can't keep you after 2 years of a graduate program, what they're going to do? Well, they're not going to invest in your time and effort and energy into a graduate program if they can't keep you, sponsor you for a work visa afterwards. Secondly, some graduate schemes are longer than 2 years, so even if you go on a graduate visa and you go on a graduate scheme, the timing might clash, you might not have enough time. So that's why they might not accept graduate visa. Some employers don't understand the visa, they haven't done the research, they're saying it's too complicated, and they just say no. some companies will say it's really expensive to sponsor you afterwards, so the whole process is discouraging. And more and more companies unfortunately saying that because of the new salary requirements. You might not be aware, but in April this year, 2024, the salary requirements for a graduate visa have increased a lot. It used to be around 20,960 for international students switching to a skilled worker visa. Now it's 30,960 pounds. So by 10,000 at least, the salary requirement has increased, which is a lot. And obviously, sorry, I just noticed there is a typo. That is why some graduate schemes don't pay 30,160 or more to sponsor you for a skilled worker visa. So in summary, I want to tell you that if you want to apply for a graduate scheme, you have two options. Of course, apply for a graduate scheme while you're still on a student visa and then get an offer before graduation, or option two, apply for a graduate scheme while you're on graduate visa. And preferably, apply while your graduate visa is still valid. So if, let's say, a graduate program will begin in September 2025, but your graduate visa will expire in the summer of 2025, it could be harder for a company to sponsor you. So it's probably best to apply while you still have graduate visa that will be valid by the time you start the program, so they can manage that process for you. Hopefully that's not too complicated. In summary, companies can hire you either straight away from student visa and switch you to a skilled worker visa, and some companies do that. A lot of my clients have followed this route, so they didn't even have to switch to a graduate visa. And as I told you before, when I was graduating, graduate visa was not there, and when I started my undergrad, the graduate visa wasn't there. So that's an option. Or a second option is you switch to a graduate visa, then you start with a company. They either switch you for a skilled worker visa straight away once you begin with them, so from graduate visa to skilled worker visa. But more and more I see that the company will just switch you once the graduate visa will end. They'll switch you to a skilled worker visa afterwards. So not when the graduate scheme will finish, but when your visa will expire. So hopefully this makes sense. And of course, your other option is to apply for roles that are not graduate schemes. Hopefully this clarifies. So the summary of graduate schemes and some things I want you to remember. So the good thing is many roles in top companies don't require any experience. A lot of my clients didn't have any experience. I mean, formally, like in terms of actual full-time experience in years, maybe some internships, definitely, but no formal experience required. It's possible to get skilled worker visa straight away without graduate visa, but even while you're on graduate visa, it's possible to get a skilled worker visa. That's great. Quite many degrees don't require quite many graduate schemes don't require any particular degree. So if you want to go into some graduate schemes in accounting or consulting, they would say any degree is acceptable. So you don't have to study marketing or business to get into those roles. I think that it can be quite well paid because of all the stages that you have to go through. They do have some kind of high standard, and because they're competitive, they pay competitively because they also trying to make sure you accept this offer, not other companies. So they could be quite well paid and have a lot of perks like visa costs covered, maybe relocation bonuses or joining bonuses, which is quite great for someone who is quite young without experience. And of course, getting professional qualification is a lot for many graduates, paid for with days to study and just the whole kind of training and development you get. For me, I just spent 3 years or 2.5 years on a graduate program, but I worked in 3 different locations. I mean, in terms of teams, I met so many senior people, and someone would still be in the same role for 2 years, but I got to work with 3 different teams, which is really, really great for my career development. But obviously disadvantages. Some of them require particular grades, and a lot of companies still ask for 1 or 60% in your degree. Some would ask even some particular grades in your high school, which is quite limiting sometimes. Sometimes another thing is that you have to apply in advance. So as I said, planning is key. Not all roles will sponsor, unfortunately. Let's be frank, many companies still don't sponsor, and less do sponsor because of the new salary requirements. It does take, there is a slow application process that takes, success or happiness out of you and drains you, but also, some candidates find it hard to be in this exam settings and pass those tests. One other disadvantage that I didn't add that I have been noticing is that some companies do target particular universities. So if you went to some universities that could be considered less prestigious, some companies you probably will find it harder to break into some companies. That's what I've noticed based on my opinion, but also research that I have read, that top employers target top companies or specific companies, but the kind of events they do or the graduates they attract. That's something for you to remember as well. So let me just grab some water and continue on which companies do sponsor. Great. So who are the sponsors? Overall, for international students, a lot of companies can sponsor. There is no rule that you have to be a top organization or making billions to sponsor. In reality, if we look at statistics, it could be a small company, could be large. So, some even have less than 9 employees, some have less than 50, and so that's kind of the statistics I see with my clients. I have some that went for micro companies, some went for huge corporations. Obviously, more people are hired by bigger companies just because they are bigger, so it's the same kind of statistics we see with international students. But for graduate schemes, I would say that mostly the bigger employers hire because they have the money, the funds, the resources to run those graduate programs. Let's take, for example, JP Morgan, where I worked with for several years. They had the whole graduate recruitment team because it's such a big process where you have to manage this process, hire people, train them, make sure that they are getting all the development and so on. So it's a big chunk of resource. So usually I see that those big structured graduate schemes are done by bigger companies. And also they are sponsoring more. In terms of the sectors, I think science, engineering, business administration, technology is a big sector where graduate students, with international students, but overall people switching from student visa to work visa are placed. But also health teaching is also the NHS, let's say, and universities is another place where people go. But that's probably not on the graduate schemes. So how do you know what the company sponsors? You do have to do research because a lot of the companies do have a license sponsorship and a license to sponsor, but you do have to do your research a bit more, because just because they have a license to sponsor doesn't mean that they will sponsor on a graduate program if they're running one. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention on the slides, that there are some websites that are trying to do that research for you, like GradLink or UK or Student Circus. It's the one that I've used before. So they do try to do the research and only share positions for international students. But usually it's still not enough, and you do have to do more research. And I do that for my clients and for people inside GradCircle, but I can teach you as well how you can do that. Of course, the first stage would be to check the company's website, FAQ section, and For example, Atkins, where some of my clients got sponsored for a skilled worker visa on a graduate scheme, actually says this, are you eligible to apply if you're a student? And they explain, yes, you can, and here is the guidance. So you explore the FAQ section, you might find an answer there of the, in the careers page of the company. Then quite often, that's one of the things we've done for my clients, and also what I do for to do my research, because now I have a database of companies that run graduate schemes and what they sponsor or not. My team and I were reaching out to companies directly, and I teach my clients to do the same. So you can reach out to companies and ask, okay, do you sponsor or not for a particular role or even for a graduate scheme? Sometimes the companies would ghost me, I'll be fair. I'll have to follow up a few times. Sometimes they'll say, sorry, we don't. At the moment, we don't offer sponsorship, which is also great, because at least you don't have to go through this whole application process. And some say, yes, we do sponsor, or we sponsor for some roles, or we sponsor on case-by-case basis. So you can reach out to companies directly, and here is a screenshot you can use. Actually, not just for, screenshot this templates that I have used many times that have and got a response from company, was they sponsor or not. So you can use it even if you want to apply for a company and you don't know, not even if it's a graduate scheme. Or overall, if you're interested in working somewhere when you don't know whether they were eligible or open for sponsorship, you can use that. So as I said, sometimes direct approach is good, especially for grad schemes, because you don't have to apply the same day the role has been posted. Usually, it's posted and there is some kind of few weeks or window for you to make an application. And if you apply and they don't sponsor, sometimes they might not reject you straight away. They might reject you after you fill in all those applications and maybe even do the assessment, which is a big headache. And you might be getting rejection just because of your visa status instead of your profile, and you might be blaming yourself. Quite often they'll say that in a job description as well. They'll say, look, this is what we need to have. You need to be doing your master's degree, you need to have 2-1, you need to blah, 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 blah. But visa sponsorship not offered for this role. Some people actually miss that information, surprisingly. And then they will be like, well, I got rejected. Well, the company have blatantly said, we don't offer sponsorship, probably because they don't want to hire you or sponsor international students, basically. So be careful with applying for these roles. Usually it also means that the graduate schemes, graduate visa will also not be accepted. That's usually what they mean when they say that. Obviously, I've done some research, and here are just some examples. I don't represent these companies, but if we're looking at the sectors that are quite common for sponsorship, this could be construction, energy, engineering, so companies like BP, Shell, Atkins, Transport for London, Arab, Mott MacDonald in some roles, and so on, that they do sponsor international students, not only in engineering roles. There are other roles like finance, marketing, and so on. Then we have the consulting companies like Deloitte, obviously McKinsey, Accenture, or similar, that like to sponsor international students as well, like to sponsor or do sponsor. Of course, professional services, tax, audit, accounting, firms like KPMG, PwC, BDO, RSM, or similar. Banking and finance are a big sector where I got sponsored, but also my other clients as well. So companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and NatWest. And finally, pharmaceuticals, another area where I see the sponsorship quite often offered. And obviously, you don't have to be a finance specialist to work in JP Morgan. There are, product design, product roles, and technology roles, and other way around. In Boots, there is a finance graduate scheme, and so on. So you have to do your research. But in reality, this is just some examples where in last year at least, the international students were sponsored for graduate schemes in the UK. So, in summary, mostly only large firms have graduate schemes because they can afford that. But just because the company is very, very big and they hire a lot of graduates and they top employer, doesn't mean that they sponsor. You have to do your research. For example, Tesco, Mars, Lidl, I think even Unilever, some of the companies that you would assume, or L'Oreal, that are huge and should be sponsoring, they wouldn't, just because maybe it's a policy, how the costs or how much they pay students. I don't know what it is. I think that just in general, retail sector of FMCG is less keen to sponsor international students on graduate schemes for some reason, according to my research. So your research is essential. I don't want you to be wasting your time applying for graduate schemes that you're not eligible to apply for. And that's when you find graduate schemes, sometimes through university directly or through websites like Bright Network. Just keep in mind that you might not be eligible just because of your visa status, which sucks. I agree, but that's a reality. So let's move to we do have to move quicker, but I want to tell you how to secure a graduate scheme. What are the most important things you need? But let's first, be frank. Being an international student in the UK is not easy. I feel like many of us forget the challenges that we face, or we kind of take it like, okay, this is what it is, but it's not what it is. Obviously we in general face more difficulties when looking for our first job in the UK. First of all, we could be alone in the country. Obviously there is a cultural shock, financial stress. I know a lot of us have loans that we have to repay quite quickly, not like British people that have that can repay whenever they start earning, or it's taken from the salary. I know that many international students have to repay as soon as possible. Then, you do get a lot of rejections. You don't know where to ask for advice. People back home are probably asking, so did you get a job? Or how is it in the UK? They haven't been through the process. They're putting pressure on you. That's not helpful, because they obviously want the best for you, but they're not there. They just don't know the market. They haven't done the same thing, and they just say, well, we know someone, or your parents might say, well, this son is working as an engineer, so why can't you, and so on. Sometimes it's just lacking confidence. Being a fresh graduate is already difficult, no matter where you are, but being an immigrant and a fresh graduate is even harder. Maybe you're worried about your accent, your level of English. That's definitely something that I still worry about every time I speak to a British person. But also, I was worrying even more when I was graduating, just because now you're probably saying, oh, Valerie, you're so confident, but that's not how I started at all. And obviously doing those lives every month or so really helped with my confidence, but my English has never been perfect. And you're just losing motivation. It's very, very common. I have clients that, just like on paper, they're amazing candidates, but just like can't persevere. It's just really, really hard to keep them going. So in reality, it's your choice how you will use this opportunity in the UK. I feel that having worked with clients and having been in a situation where graduate visa has not been there, it's only been introduced in 2021, I feel that if we have graduate visa, it's definitely enough time for you to try different strategies. Try application for graduate schemes, try something more immediate, try to get experience elsewhere, and definitely, this is my personal opinion, with hard work and graduate visa, you're very likely to get a visa sponsorship role in the UK. That being said, of course, there are many things that come in that are outside of your control, and I can't just say, oh, it's only hard work. Of course, some people are unlucky. I know that last year, for example, because of visa changes, some people had their offers recalled. Sometimes you might get some adversities around you that you can't control. But overall, I'm very confident that if you are putting the hard work, if you're using graduate visa wisely, you can make it happen. and you will face rejections, and you will have struggles, but people that persevere and put the hard work are usually the ones that do secure a job. And just to cheer you up, of course, many international students get job in with a visa sponsorship every year. People do that, and there is no reason why it can't be you. Even people come from abroad that don't study in the UK. So definitely the first thing you need is the right mindset, hardworking, positive attitude. That's definitely the first step. And more and more I see how this is what makes a difference in many people's approach. But of course, that's not everything. It would have been easy. Just be positive, just work hard. Obviously, the right strategy is also very important. And that's what I teach my clients. I feel that my approach is kind of in 3 different areas. First of all, your candidate profile needs to be very strong. So you need to know your strengths, exactly, how you're going to stand out in the job market. You need to research which roles to target based on your strengths, and obviously articulate all of that in your CV, LinkedIn, cover letters, job applications. So the whole branding that you do is important. As for example, if I know my strengths is like communication, HR, recruitment process, but I don't, market myself that I can help you with opening your business, because that's wouldn't make me a good candidate. So it's not only knowing your strengths, but also marketing to the right audience. So if you're an analytical person with engineering background, of course you need to be going in a particular industry. But if your strengths are HR or empathy, then you should be going elsewhere and not applying just because you've heard everyone is getting jobs in engineering. That was one of the mistakes I've done. I was looking for finance, investment banking jobs just to realize that's not my strengths. When I figured out that my strength is empathy, communication, helping people, building relationships, that's when I started getting interviews, because I was selling myself in the right market in HR. Then you start to make applications. In the graduate schemes, it's very important, the timing, how you prepare for assessments, how you chose the companies and the roles, and just number of applications. It doesn't have to be too little, but not too much as well. Obviously, if you make a little number of applications, because some rejections will be outside of your control. For example, they just have too many applicants, or maybe you weren't lucky with the assessment question, or they just didn't like the way you've done your video interview, because people are biased, right? There is always some kind of bias in the process. So if you make little number of applications, you wouldn't have enough people to consider you. But if you make too much, you might lose on quality. So hitting that sweet spot. And finally, you do have to be working on your communication skills, interview skills, go into different networking events, and making sure you know what goes into the whole recruitment process, and that what is the company is about, what it is like to work there, and this can be done through networking. And I've noticed that people that do all of that, all my clients that put emphasis on all those 3 areas, have the highest chance of securing a job in the UK. And actually my checklist that I'll share with you in the end of the lecture covers more in detail each part of this process. So why graduate schemes can't be your only strategy? Let me explain. Unfortunately, before, a few years before, I would have put more emphasis on just, trying with grad schemes, and some people, it would have worked out quite well. But I feel that more and more we can't just rely on that. First of all, the number of graduate positions or graduate schemes has decreased. According to Bloomberg, the number of vacancies for grads fell by 30% from a year ago. That's crazy. In the UK, some other numbers like High Flyers research said that instead of predicted rise of graduate vacancies for 6%, the number of graduates recruited in 2023 fell by 6%. So it's a lot, right? Considering that graduates, I think, number are growing. The number of vacancies has fell. I mean, 6% is not crazy, but I feel that I notice it myself that there is a slower response, slower success rate in the market. Because I've been doing this for several intakes now. Second, the another reason why it can't be your only strategy is because it doesn't work for all industries. I did explain that some top organizations hire more, but maybe you want to be a very niche marketeer. You like to run paid ads. Maybe you want to be able to find a graduate scheme in that. Maybe you want to work in fashion or do a very particular type of position. Maybe you're better off going for direct entry because some of these roles are very industry specific. Some candidates are just not very good at assessments. You may be, really bad at passing a mass test when you have a timer on, and that's fine. Maybe you hate video interviews, but you have to record yourself. And some of my clients excel better at different positions. Finally, some people don't have really good grades, so academic achievements. For example, you didn't have a 2-1 in your degree. A lot of grad schemes, you won't be eligible straight away. Or maybe just, your university is not top, which I still think you should be going for grad schemes, but maybe not all companies will give you a fair chance, in my opinion. And finally, the biggest reason why I think it shouldn't be your only strategy is because of new salary requirements for skilled worker visa. Unfortunately, I had some clients whose applications and offers were either put on hold or rejected because the government has announced new salary requirements. So as I said, some grad schemes will pay you around 30,000, some pay less. And this would mean that they're no longer eligible to give you the visa, because let's say they pay 28, but to give you the visa you have to be paid 30,160. But also because the discount that you get on skilled worker visa as an international student is time limited, and usually after 2 years you already spent on skilled worker visa. Some people it's more, depending on how many time you already spent on graduate visa. You would need to be paid around 39,000 or more, and maybe by the time you progress within a company you wouldn't meet that salary requirement. I know making it complicated, but to really explain to you, unfortunately the salary requirements mean that even if the company wants international talent, they can't unless they raise salaries for everyone, and you can imagine that's a big cost. But they can't just raise salary for you just because you need a visa. They need to pay all the graduates the same, and usually companies pay graduates on the same scale, no matter the person. They have very fixed kind of pay structure. So that's why I do recommend looking for immediate start date roles, junior positions, somewhere where you can apply directly, and obviously get experience on a graduate visa, build your profile in different ways like internships, project work, freelancing, and so on. And for many people, graduate scheme could be an option, but for many of my clients, it's not how they land a sponsored job. It's just one of the strategies that you can try. And for some people, it wouldn't be the best, depending on your profile. So the mistakes that I see for international students, just to summarize, is obviously having poor CVs and cover letters, just not optimizing it properly, not tailoring it for the sector, role, and company, not tailoring it for the industry they target, even for graduate schemes, not having good LinkedIn profiles. You'll be surprised, but even for grad schemes, I know they check LinkedIn profiles. My clients would be like, Valeria, recruiter at KPMG looked at my profile, or at Arab, do you think I'm getting a assessment center? And usually it means yes, or you at least a decision will be made. More and more they check in LinkedIn profiles, so I do help with that. And inside GradCircle I teach exactly that, how to create your great profiles, how to tailor your applications. I provide feedback on your CV and LinkedIn profile initially, and then every week I go live to do that for each of the clients. But also I show you how to tailor your application, stand out in the job market, pass screening stages for top sponsors as well. The next mistake that you could be making is not applying to the positions that suit your profile. So there are lots of grad schemes, but because you might have not worked before, you might think, okay, that sounds great, but maybe it's not a good fit based on the skills they want, or just the profile that you have. As I said, a lot of companies applying are not sponsoring, and you might be targeting the wrong positions, and maybe you're applying too late or not applying enough. So one thing that is important with GradCircle that I offer is, of course, because it's a community where I go live a few times a week, very similar what kind of a session we had today, but more interactive because we're in smaller groups. You are kept accountable. You see how many people are, what other people are doing, where they're applying. I know every single person inside the community, what their progress is like. But also I teach you how to find positions, and I share roles where I will say if you're a good fit or not, and overall which degree and skills they're looking for, because I do that research for my group. And finally, of course, not preparing properly for interview skills, the communication skills might be lacking, not preparing for each stage correctly, and that's what I teach inside GradCircle as well. Of course, interview skills are huge. A lot of people think, well, I go to an interview and I go rejected because of the visa, but quite often it's just poor communication style, the structure, and just not knowing how to network properly. So, first of all, we spend at least once a week on interview skills inside GradCircle, but also you get a chance to do a video interview to get feedback, and also we teach you how to network with templates and examples and appropriate ways to do it in the UK. So let's jump into the competition. You can win access to GradCircle. Let me just tell you how to do it. So what you need to do is comment hashtag price to win the GradCircle membership. So you have to put hashtag price, and you'll be straight away entered into the competition, and you are going to be eligible to win. What you're going to be eligible to win? You're going to be eligible to win GradCircle digital platform, and that is basically my main way I work with international students right now. It's very much similar. You got a taster of what it's like to learn from me in this session, to join a session with me. So in a very similar way, I run a group coaching program inside my platform. So through Zoom, we do different sessions. We at least 3 weekly sessions based on different aspects of job searching process, depending on what we have going on there. So I'll just send you how the timetable can look, and you can have a look. So we have at least few sessions a week. They're all recorded, and they're all in different times. But basically, I call it like career university, where it's not only me, but other experts also share different lessons and materials and strategy for you to get a job in the UK. I also have online courses there, so on-demand things. For example, you have an interview, you don't have to wait for the session or lecture. You can just go in and watch lectures on that topic. We have different resources like cover letter examples, networking templates, CV examples and templates, interview scripts, and so on. You have community and of other international students. I checked today, 113 members, including me and other mentors. So it's a lot of people, but at the same time, I keep it quite small. I don't want this community to be like thousands and thousands of people, because at the same time, I have to have enough energy and time to dedicate to everyone. So it's a big community, but not just big enough so you can get enough help from others and from me. And as I said, we research opportunities, and we have a lot of guest speakers and expert workshops. For example, every month Gina, immigration lawyer, comes to speak with us to answer your questions and also give us updates. We have Bianca, who is a career coach, a qualified career coach from Edinburgh University. She worked there and she does training on cultural stuff. We have Shreya, marketing mentor, who is my past client, now a marketing manager or coordinator at the University of Newcastle, who teaches us how to get a job in marketing, but also how to directly approach recruiters and companies, because she got 2, not 1 skilled worker visa jobs in the UK, so she already switched to a second one. So that's just some things that are inside GradCircle. And if you join us in August, you'll get a huge discount, because we're going to increase prices, and we do that all the time. Since GradCircle has launched, we've been adding more and more value, building more and more sessions, attracting more and more mentors, and that's why the price is going up, but also because we have places that fill up quite quickly. You get the guaranteed price, but also you get 4 bonuses. First of all, a coaching call with me, where we will define your plan. It's really important for us to pick one-on-one, so I can tell you exactly how I see your journey in the UK. We analyze the company's roles you should be targeting and so on, but also what's the best strategy for you, because not everyone has the same approach, not everyone has the same strengths, and then I'll tell you exactly how you will use GradCircle to benefit you inside how you can best approach job search process. I will provide CV and LinkedIn feedback recorded to you the video, so you can rewatch it as many times as you want, and then you can attend our group sessions and then get even more feedback if you need. You'll also get a recorded video interview practice, where you go in and you answer 5-6 questions, and then you get feedback with that as well. So it's very similar tool like you would be using in the graduate scheme or other role applications. And finally, you could also get a discount for a top aptitude test platform if you need to be practicing those assessment tests. So that's how it looks. When you join, there is all the events that are happening. You can post on the wall, you can see my updates, and so on. You can go check out the courses, and I have lots of them there, or you can go attend different events, and you join directly from the platform. You click through, you go to Zoom session, and that's where we are, and where I am several times a week. My other mentors are there. So you'll get the support. Not only you get the strategy and everything that I got to teach you, but also you can send me a message or ask a question at any time in the community for support. I have those weekly like Q&A career chats. You can just come in and chat, ask anything you want. So we have the structured sessions, and we have like chats where you can get support. There is no monthly cost or hidden fees. You pay once, you get lifetime access to all the resources, materials, to all the sessions we're going to be ever schedule. So there is no kind of join, and then if let's say you're busy, your access doesn't burn you. You are there for life, basically. And that's why some of my clients that already got roles, they still there because they can help you as well, but also because they remain part of a community. So and you can win all of that today if you comment #price, and I'm going to tell you exactly and welcome someone inside the community today. So before we announce, don't forget that you can connect with me. First of all, follow my YouTube channel now. Click follow so you don't miss some cool videos. Go on Instagram, Mind the Grad. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm also on TikTok. I'm trying to be on TikTok, my least favorite platform. And of course, if you have any questions, you feel free to email me as well. So let's announce the winner. So I will put in the comments stop, and we will do that now. Can I have some drum roll, please, and then we can do the questions. So let me do that. How do I do that? 1 second. 1 second. Let me just do that. I need to draw a winner. 1 second. Okay. It's happening. Picking the winner. Let's see who wins. Very exciting. I feel like I'm going to win. It's taking its time. Let's see. So Suresh Sujay, welcome to GradCircle. You won. Can you send me an email to claim your prize? So Suresh, Sujay, welcome. I'm so excited for you to join. Or maybe you can message, you can send me your email now, and I will message you as well. So welcome, Suresh. Congratulations. Really exciting. Let's then talk a little bit more about your questions you might have. So thank you everyone who participated. You can still join GradCircle if you enroll. You can, it's still for available. It's not like you can only win access. You can also purchase the access. And we do, as I said, have a good deal going on this summer before we begin a busy season. If you want some notes of our lecture, here is a free checklist for you to download, and this is basically a checklist or job search plan that summarizes all the most important points that I have covered in today's session. I hope you like it. This is my first winning in UK life. Okay, I'm glad. Suresh, very welcome. I'm really excited to help you with your job search, and thank you for participating, everyone. So while you are asking your questions, let me to remind you to download the free checklist. It's for you. It's only available for people that attended live. So go to this link, save it. Hopefully this will help you as well to get all the notes available. So let's answer some questions. Let me see. So posted, I don't think I'll be scrolling back up because I already, too many comments that people were participating. So I have 11 months left visa. I have no professional experience. Can I get a visa sponsored job? Please help. If I pay to you, can you help me? Tosif. I think that 11 months is still a good amount of time for you to get a job in the UK. It's not about paying me or someone, right? You have to really work on your strategy. Of course, if you pay and join GradCircle, we have a lot of materials and we can help you with a strategy, but it's up to you still to be interviewing, to be applying, to be networking. I think that 11 months is a big amount of time. I would say on average, it takes 4 to 6 months to get a job in UK. I usually don't recommend joining, let's say, GradCircle if you have 1 or 2 months left. That being said, we had people inside GradCircle that left the UK and then got back to the UK as well. So that's possible. In reality, you could be applying till the last moment. I had a client that was before graduate visa that got a job and applied a week before the student visa expired. But that being said, I don't know enough about your profile, your skills and experience, but definitely, lots of things can turn around in 11 months. You can get a job, work for 6 months, get trained on probation, on graduate visa, and convince someone to sponsor. So it's, it's not that you have to pay someone. There is a lot of work that you have to be putting in as well. Jonathan, I have 5-year work experience in a bank in Sri Lanka. Should I mention it in the CV? Of course, mention it. Your non-UK experience is valuable. And I think that it's important. Obviously, for grad schemes, maybe you have to be careful. But because you went back to study, I assume it should be fine. Non-UK experience is definitely something you should be selling in the UK. Bukia, do you expect the new visa rules to change, be enhanced? So it looks like it could, no immediate changes. So I feel like if you're graduating soon, I don't think that we're going to see any immediate changes because they already have done a lot of turmoil, but it looks like maybe they'll make it even harder to be sponsored. So I don't think, looking at what has been happening in the market, I don't think labor is great for a skilled talent, because the main manifesto or value that labor has is more jobs for British people. So that means that they kind of want to push more training and make employers focus more on local talent. So it could make it a little bit more difficult, but we don't have anything concrete, and I don't think that, I still feel like there's going to be always a loophole. There's always going to be a window to get a job in the UK. Otherwise, UK is very much still heavily, welcoming international talent, and maybe they'll have, usually beforehand, when this has happened, there is always some kind of exception for people that are studying in the UK because of the big value that international students bring to economy. I feel like they'll still make some exceptions for international students, and for international students there is always going to be some kind of possibility to stay, and it will be possible, just like what we see now. Tadiva, I don't have copy presentation because it's my work, but I have created this free checklist, so definitely go and download this free checklist or summary. Also, I will be sharing a recording after the call. I do not share my presentation, just hopefully you understand it is my work that I have produced, and that's why I don't share it. Thank you. Aaron, I'm in UK with youth mobility visa and have 3 years of experience in animation and VFX production. Oh, cool. And the visa is valid for 2 years with right to work. Will I be able to land a job in UK? I think so. I mean, definitely you should. I have to double check the rules for youth mobility, but I think that you definitely can switch to skilled worker visa straight away. And if you have right to work and you have relevant experience, definitely you can do that. And you should be, I feel like because it's quite a specific field you're doing, probably not a graduate job is good option for you, but something direct entry, and start making a list of companies and that you could be targeting, directly approaching them, approaching people that already have those dream jobs of yours. Definitely I feel that it's possible. Kosar, congratulations to Suresh. Yes, congratulations. Harshit. So 30,160, £15 per hour, is this a requirement for the paralegal role for sponsorship salary, or does it have to be 38,700? Little confused, please share your thoughts. So Harshit, when it comes to skilled worker visa, first of all, there are two requirements. One is the minimum, which is 38,700, and second is the going rate. So going rate is what the government has decided should be a good level for this position. So let's assume that the minimum salary requirement for skilled worker visa is 38,700, so you can't be paid less usually, but if you're going for senior engineering role, you can't be paid the same, because the going rate or the rate that the government thinks should be paid can't be the same as graduate engineer, right? Because for senior roles they have higher going rates. So there are two requirements: minimum requirement and the going rate for whatever position you're going for. Then we have extra discounts on those things, and one of the extra discounts is a new entrant rule, which is basically a discount for young talent or people that are entering the graduate market. And the international students switching from student visa or graduate visa qualify for new entrant rule. And this is basically, if your current visa is student visa or graduate visa, you are eligible for new entrant discount. And this makes those two requirements lower. So instead of 38,700, your requirement salary is 30,160, but you'll still have some kind of going rate. So you have to check what's the going rate for your paralegal role, considering that you're a new entrant. I would assume it would be around 30,160 for a paralegal as well, unless you're not eligible for new entrant rule. Hopefully this explains it, and that's one of these things that we kind of work inside GradCircle when we have a immigration lawyer coming to speak to us every month, and you have recordings of those sessions where we explain in more detail. It's very complicated topic. In reality, obviously it's good to be aware, but your employer can help you as well. Immigration lawyers can help. But I think that for one thing that a lot of international students get confused, or am I a new entrant or not? If your current visa graduate visa, you qualify for new entrant discount. If your current visa student visa and you'll be graduating with a degree that qualifies you for a graduate visa, then you'll also be eligible. So you don't have to be below 26, that's some people saying. And that does help a lot, having this discount. Tausif already replied to you. Mehrat, I know it depends on many factors, but what application rate would you say is ideal? Well, when I was applying for my graduate scheme, I applied for 60. That was a lot. I would say that 20 to 40 is good, in my opinion, throughout the application season. That would give you enough opportunity to practice, try different companies. But even that, if you're, let's say, an engineer and you go into a very specific role, I had a client who only applied for 10 but got 2 assessment centers, because we were really niche and we only were going for one particular type of engineering. Yeah, I would say at least 10. Yu Chi Peng, is it really difficult to find an internship as I didn't have experience in the UK before? No, I think that it's possible. As I said, you don't have to have UK experience. Everyone starts somewhere. Otherwise, none of us will be getting roles if you can't. Definitely, there are lots of things you need to be working on to get there, but it's not difficult. It's possible. And if you're already here learning about, how to do it, and download this free checklist to start with, it is possible. And people are still hiring, people need talent, and Shit Rakshi, how to choose a path? Well, definitely it's a complicated thing to do. You can join GradCircle. That will be one of the ways where I can help to work with you. I do have more premium programs, but they're even more expensive. So have a look at my website, and I'll be happy to work with you. Connect with me on Instagram, on LinkedIn. If you need any help, you're still confused how to work with me, I'll be happy to help. But of course, it's not something that is so easy to decide based on one message or one Instagram. Some people message me on Instagram, Valeria, which role should I go for? And I don't advise on such difficult matters, because it's a strategy that you have to go through. Yes, Jonathan, I already responded to your message. Jennifer, most schemes start in September, but I graduated in November 2025. Should I still apply for it possible to complete with the company? Do you graduate in November or do you finish your course? So I have, let's say I was graduating at once, like in November, but I submitted my dissertation in August, and I could start my role in September. And you can actually switch from student visa to skilled worker visa before you even finish your course. There is a window, but you have to check, of course. So if you finish your course and you have to be studying till November, you might not be eligible. And unfortunately, some companies and some students, especially masters, are kind of in that weird limbo when they have to be still studying, but the graduate scheme starts earlier, because it's usually designed for bachelor students that finish earlier. So you might have to wait for later intake. But otherwise, double check. Sometimes November graduation date might actually mean that you submit your dissertation in August or beginning of September, and you can start earlier. Some companies, unfortunately, couldn't accept earlier start dates or later start dates, and some people lost the offers because of that. So timing is important, but it's not, you have to know exactly when the course finishes. I had some people who thought it's November, but it wasn't. So hopefully that helps. Mehrat, would you recommend applying through recruitment agencies? Yes, I recommend, but it's more helpful if you have experience and if you have a particular skill. So let's say you're an engineer and you have a technical role and you're going for a recruitment agency that does hire those engineers, or if you are ICCA qualified. So usually it works best if they have particular skill in demand and you come in and they can close that gap for a client, or because of course for recruitment agencies they need to get someone in the position as soon as possible, and if you need to be sponsored or if you don't have relevant position, they're less likely to push you. So it depends on the situation, but definitely something you should consider. And if you don't have experience, some of my clients got fixed-term contracts or short-term contracts through recruitment agencies, which can be really helpful to build your profile on a graduate visa. I graduated in June, and my TIA for student is due to expire in October. When would you recommend apply for the graduate visa? Obviously, I'm not an immigration advisor, so I assume you have to apply definitely before October, and you have to be in country to do that. You can't be traveling, and you need to first of all wait for your university to tell you that they have communicated to the home office that you have completed your degree. If you already got that email or message from university, you can apply as soon as you want. Obviously, the sooner you apply, the sooner you'll get it, the sooner it will expire. So maybe apply soon, but it's your personal decision. I can't be advising that because I'm not an immigration advisor, but if I were in this situation, I would apply probably before my visa expires, maybe a few weeks or a month before, but not too early, so I don't miss out on that extra month. Who knows, maybe you'll need that extra month. But it seems like you can start applying in September. That sounds like a good timing. Just make sure you don't travel. Thank you, Tosif. Shonang, do you provide services for university pass out? I have 3 months left in graduate that I would love to talk to you one-on-one. 3 months is a little bit time left, but as I said, on average it takes 4 to 6 months to get the job in the UK, so you might have to go back to your home country and then apply UK, and definitely we can talk how GradCircle can help, or I can help one-on-one, so contact me with your personal situation. Pratik, can I get a job in UK after master's in UK but I do not have any work experience? Yes, Pratik, this has been the purpose of this whole lecture, how you can do that, and definitely maybe try graduate schemes as one of the options. Tayap, no, it's not. As I said, it's possible, and the same approach applies for for internships as well. Arun already responded to your message. Satish, hi Valeria, I have 8 years experience in textile manufacturing sector back in India. Wow, I just completed my master's in strategic project management. Should I go for graduate schemes or not? So if a graduate scheme in a different area, you can try it. If it's not the role you want to do is not directly relevant to what you want to do in the UK. So let's say you want to go for project management in energy sector, but you worked in manufacturing sector in textile. But if you want to continue building on what you've done in India, then definitely don't apply for grad schemes, because you can get a better role, more experienced role, building on that experience you already have. Should a person prepare for job simulation assessment? How should a person prepare for job simulation or assessment center? Mohammed, yes. So this is something I cover in GradCircle always my one-on-one clients. Definitely you have to be researching what's included. It really depends on the type of company, but the first step to do is understand the role you're applying for, what responsibilities are included, what the company does, how they do business, and this will really help for job simulation. Watch some videos, do research, read the interviews, and of course use the assessment resources available. Many universities provide those for free, so check it out with your university what access you have. Maybe you're already given some free resources. For assessment center, there is so much to cover: interview skills, teamwork skills, how to do presentations. It's not something I can cover in such a short span, and it's something that we teach inside group coaching step by step. Can you throw some light on the age criteria that is set for candidates on the grad schemes? So first of all, they can't discriminate you based on age, and that's one thing that I'll tell you. And I have clients that were above 30, they got the grad scheme, and they were below 30. So I don't think that there is a discrimination. That being said, if you are, let's say, 45 with 20 years of experience, maybe it's not going to be the most interesting place for you as well. So I would say graduate schemes are still for people without a lot of experience, relevant or non-relevant. So I would say if you went different studies, or you just took longer to graduate, that's fine. But if you've been working for 10 years, maybe you should be applying for something immediate start date. It'll be better fit. It's something for you, but I don't think they'll be discriminating. But obviously they also want to make sure that you are in the right place, you are motivated enough to be there, and sometimes they'll say 0 to 2 years of relevant experience is required. They don't want to be over, it's not fair for other candidates if someone with 10 years of experience is applying. Pars, I'm a bit confused about the sponsorship salary rule. I will be graduating in September, and as a per rule I'll be getting discount salary in the same after 2 years after completing PSW. So Parsa, I do have a good YouTube video on this as well. If you go to my YouTube channel now and check it out, I think it's called entry level, the sponsorship entry salary requirement. But basically, yes, if you're graduating in 2024, by the time when you switch to graduate visa, the 4 years of discount start. So let's say if you switch to skilled worker visa directly, you have 4 years of discount on skilled worker visa. If you switch to graduate visa for 1 year, and then 3 years, you'll have a discount for skilled worker visa. Or maybe if you do 2 years on graduate visa, you'll only have 2 years on skilled worker visa discount. Hopefully this makes sense. Manju, I completed my master's this July. Can I apply for graduate role now? If I do, can I get it? Yes, definitely. A lot of people that apply are recent graduates, so definitely, Manju, it's a good time. Harshit, I'm back in India, unfortunately. Yes, it's still possible to come back, but it's just like it takes longer. So actually, if you're not on current graduate visa, or you haven't graduated recently, you can double check. You might still be eligible for a discount. But if you already used your graduate visa, so you will have, 1 more year of discount, I guess. That's something, right, you can work with. So even if you got back, it doesn't kill the discount. Only the time starts after your graduate visa. Jennifer, would you recommend applying for off-cycle internship or internship while waiting for schemes results? But how do I know if they will give me return offer? Actually, many companies say you can only apply for one role within the firm, so they wouldn't allow you to apply for grad scheme and off-cycle internship usually. So be careful, double check that with the company. I don't want you to miss out on your offer just because you made 2 applications. Usually you apply for one, and then you can't apply for another one for 6 months. But if off-cycle internship is something that works for you and you meet the eligibility criteria, definitely go for it. Aaron, thank you. Jonathan, thank you. Samuel, yes, you can get a paid internship as a student. You can work depending on your visa eligibility. I will put stop for questions now because of the timing. But you can get a paid internship. You have to be careful how many hours a week you're allowed to work on your studies. So check your visa, or maybe check with your university. But usually international students are allowed to work 20 hours per week, and you can get paid for sure. Actually, in the UK, working for free can be illegal. Be careful if the company is offering you to work for free. Actually, it shouldn't be the case. Thank you, Harshit. I'm really glad. Yeah, thank you for promoting. I appreciate that. Jennifer, my course will finish in November. So, right, I remember now. You used the question that yeah, you can try off-cycle internships, but for schemes results. But some people that graduate and they not eligible for, let's say, their graduate scheme offer can apply for off-cycle internships. There are some graduate schemes that start in January and so on. So I misunderstood your question. So Jennifer, if you want to contact me in any case through any of the available means, we can discuss in more detail. But cycle internships are not that widely available, unfortunately. I feel like they're quite limited and usually apply for finance only. Okay, so Harshit, you have 4 years of new entrant discount by the time you switch to graduate visa. So let's say you switch to graduate visa in 2021, October 2021, you have until October 2025 for the discount. So if you get a skilled worker visa today, you'll get the discount still. Hopefully this makes sense. So thank you everyone so much. If you need more help, just send me a message. Harshit, you can Google your question as well. Tayab, thank you as well. And I really appreciate everyone who joined and asked all the questions. I welcome again to Suresh for the winning, and I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully I'll see you inside GradCircle as well. I'll be really happy to work with you closer, either one-on-one or through GradCircle. So thank you everyone.